Mets starting pitching is still a big hole for this team right now. Not just free agent markets, but what about a guy like Garrett Crochet? What could a trade look like, Jim?
You know, there's like two teams right now, Marlins and White Sox, that are willing to do a major league player for prospects. Everybody else is really trying to improve their team, so it's kind of a unique season. And I think if you look at Crochet, he's about as impactful as you can find. Left-handed pitcher, had 2 years left of control. And the White Sox have already told everybody that's interested, we need position player prospects back. And it's going to have to be high level. Listen, they traded Dylan Cease to the Padres, and they gave up 4 players, I think 5 players. So this is 3 prospects here. One, obviously, in Drew Gilbert, who's ranked high in MLB pipeline. He's an outfielder. You try to get a little bit of mix of outfield, infield, and catcher. They have a little bit of depth in catching, too. Parada, you know, his stock has slipped a little bit, obviously, in their organization. But Gilbert, of course, still has it. His level is still high. And we saw Acuna last year, and there's a high value there, too. It's an expensive proposition. Here's the thing. That's probably light compared to what, let's say, the Red Sox are willing to do and other teams that are interested in. So, you know, that's just kind of a starting point if you want them, you know, and I think that's where the Mets have to decide, okay, we do have some depth here, and instead of paying this huge price like we just saw with Max Fried and where Corbin Burns is, do you want to give up some prospects instead?
And it is interesting to know, we didn't get a chance to ask David Stearns on this set about it, but like I said, he spoke to the media about an hour and a half ago, and indicated a willingness in the right deal to trade away some top prospects, which is something that he did not indicate a year ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's clear that they are in, obviously, a win-now mode and are willing to do whatever it takes. But all that being said, is that a deal you'd pursue, Todd, to give away, whether it's those top prospects or maybe even more, in a deal for Garrett Crochet?
It is. It is a deal that I would pursue. I don't know that the Mets have enough at the top line of their farm system to be able to make that deal come to fruition, but it is absolutely a deal that I think would be a worthwhile sacrifice, if you will, of some of the top prospects. I think you've got somebody like Luisangel Acuna who's sitting at the top, and Mets fans are thinking, well, we saw so much great stuff out of him last year. Well, his stock is as high as it's been in a number of years by seeing some of that performance at the big league level, and you might be able to get a little added value for him when you're not really sure, A, if he's going to get the playing time that is going to be able to showcase him at the big league level next year, and B, whether or not he's really going to live up to that quick hit at the big league level. So, yeah, would I do it? Yes. Do you know if these prospects are going to materialize to be great big league players? No. Do you have other people that are right now in positions at the big league level that can fill the spots that these guys are trying to take? Yes. So I think the combination of those 3 things says use what you have in the farm system to try to make a deal like that. Not every deal, but a deal like that I would make.
Andy, how likely would you say, whether it's Crochet or somebody else on another team, are the Mets to fill their rotation hole or holes via trade versus free agency?
It's a really good question, Steve. I think it's hard to assess the likelihood because, as we just heard from David at the top of the show, they have a lot of balls in the air right now in terms of pitching. And I think it's just going to be whatever lands first. Like we talk about the likelihood of Manaea or not. Like once you make a Crochet trade, maybe the idea of giving Manaea 4 years isn't so appealing. But if Crochet goes somewhere else, okay. So there's so many interrelated parts here that it's actually hard to handicap that.
By the way, you mentioned Manaea, and I want to ask you about this, Jim, because last night on this set, you said, hey, there may be some mutual interest there in a reunion. And then after, I told you this today, afterwards I started hearing the same thing. This morning I heard a little bit more about that. Then all of a sudden Max Fried signs an 8-year, $218 million contract. What would that do? Forget about just Manaea's market, but it feels like that starting pitching market, free agency-wise, just took a notch up.
I mean, it definitely did. You know, the interesting thing is Soto, he did not, I don't think is going to pull up a lot of the position player market, but the Max Fried deal is going to pull up and push up a lot of the starting pitching. It's going to push Corbin Burns up 9 years, 10 years. It's going to drag Sean Manaea, Nathan Eovaldi, all those guys that you're looking at, maybe we can get them on a 3-year deal at 75 or 80 million. I think now with Manaea, it's going to push him over $100 million. It wouldn't shock me if the Mets decide they don't want to chase that and they go in a different direction.
Right.
That makes sense.
I mean, the money is just, it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Apparently people have money in this sport.
How
about that?
It's doing okay.